Habari za wakati mtazamaji wetu popote pale ulipo, zifuatazo ni habari za saa kutoka hapa ITV. Jina langu ni Agnes Almas, karibu. Tunajiunga na Wilberforce Ngoto ambaye yupo katika ofisi za TAMISEMI jijini Dar es Salaam akizungumza na mkurugenzi msaidizi idara ya serikali za mitaa Bwana Shomari Mukandi akizungumzia mwongozo wa usimamizi wa ukusanyaji wa mapato. Kwako Wilberforce Ngoto.
Naam, shukrani sana mwenzangu Agnes Almasi uliopo hapo studio zetu Mikocheni jijini Dar es Salaam. Asante sana kwa mtazamaji pia ambaye umeamua kuchagua habari hizi za saa siku hii leo. Mimi naitwa Wilberforce Ngoto na hapa nikizungumza nanyi niko katika ofisi za TAMISEMI zilizopo Magogoni hapa jijini Dar es Salaam. Nimepata nafasi kukutana na mkurugenzi msaidizi wa serikali za mitaa ndugu Shomari Makandi. Naam. Atakwenda kuzungumza kubwa hapa ni kuhusiana na ukusanyaji mapato katika serikali za mitaa. Mengi zaidi utafahamu kutoka kwake. Mkuu, asante sana kuweza kutenga muda nasi.
Asante sana.
Naam, kwa faida ya mtazamaji, bwana Shomari nani?
Mimi naitwa Shomari Mukandi, mkurugenzi msaidizi idara ya serikali za mitaa, ofisi ya Rais TAMISEMI.
Naam, tumesikia kwamba kuna muongozo wa namna ambavyo shughuli hii ya ukusanyaji mapato inaweza ikafanyika. Labda hili likoje labda?
Naam, tuna kikao cha wadau ambacho tunawasilisha rasimu ya mwongozo wa usimamizi wa ukusanyaji wa mapato ya mamlaka za serikali za mitaa. Mwongozo huu una makusudi ya kurahisisha na kuweka taratibu ambazo zitatumika na wanaokusanya, wanaosimamia na hali kadhalika hata waheshimiwa madiwani watakuwa rahisi, watajua namna rahisi ya kusimamia mapato.
Kuna kipindi Mheshimiwa Rais alizungumza kuhusiana na namna ambavyo mapato haya yanakuwa yakikusanywa lakini yanakuwa yanashindwa kufika katika miradi husika pengine katika ngazi hii kabisa ya serikali za mitaa. Tuzungumze kidogo hapa.
Kusema kweli, mwongozo huu unaweka bayana. Kwanza unaongeza uwazi na uwajibikaji. Kwa kila watu wametajwa vizuri na kwa hiyo wadau wengi watakuwa wanajua. Na kama mnavyofahamu leo tuna wadau kutoka sekta binafsi. Tuna namna gani mwongozo unaonesha watakavyohusishwa na kushirikishwa katika kila hatua za kuanzia mipango na bajeti za mapato na namna zinavyotumika, na moja ya mikakati mahususi ni namna gani mapato hayo yanatumiwa, ikiwa ni motisha ya kuwafanya walipa kodi waendelee kulipa na kuziamini halmashauri.
Pengine labda mkurugenzi, tukiangalia labda namna ambavyo mapato haya yamekuwa yakikusanywa lakini yakifanyika pengine miradi inakuwa inashindwa kugusa moja kwa moja, labda ni kutokana labda na hili gap ambalo lipo baina ya serikali kuu na ngazi hii ya serikali za mitaa. Nadhani hii kuna ukweli wote hapo.
Kusema kweli sio hivyo. Na utaratibu uliopo, kwanza kuna uhusiano maalum kati ya serikali kuu na serikali za mitaa. Moja ya uhusiano hayo ni kama sisi kuandaa masuala wezeshi, kuwezesha halmashauri ziweze kujiendesha na kutoa huduma inavyostahili.
Naam, labda kwa huu mwongozo labda pengine tunatazamiaje? Maana yake kumekuwepo wakati mwingine watu wakiwa wakizungumza sana kuhusiana na ngazi hii ya serikali za mitaa ambao hasa ndo pia ni moja na deal moja kwa moja na wananchi wa kawaida kabisa. Labda katika huu mwongozo sasa unatoa taswira ipi kwa Tanzania ambao wanatazama hivi sasa ITV?
Kusema kweli, kwanza hii ni nyenzo ambayo itamfanya kila mmoja aweze kushirikishwa, kufahamu hatua zote, viwango vya kodi, namna ya assessment, namna wanavyoweza kutathmini kiwango cha kodi kinachotakiwa, lini kilipwe wapi, na njia rahisi za ulipaji, na kusema kweli taarifa za mapato yaliyokusanywa na ilivyotumiwa.
Ipo haja pengine taarifa hizi za mapato wananchi kuzifahamu, pengine kuwepo na utaratibu kwamba kinachokuwa kinafanyika pengine wananchi wanakuwa wanapata taarifa moja kwa moja.
Kusema kweli, moja ya mambo muhimu sana ni halmashauri kutoa taarifa kusudi wananchi wote wafahamu kinachoendelea. Hiyo ni hatua ya msingi sana. Sasa hivi kuna maendeleo ya teknolojia, kuna tovuti za halmashauri ambazo zinatumia vile vile katika kuwafahamisha umma sio mapato tu, huduma wanazozitoa, miradi wanayotekeleza, na kutoa nafasi vile vile kwa mmoja au vikundi vya watu kuuliza baadhi ya mambo ambayo ni muhimu katika maendeleo. Naam.
Nikushukuru sana mkurugenzi msaidizi kuweza kuzungumza nasi.
Asante sana.
Naam. Alikuwa mpiga picha wangu Simon Rogers, vile vile ndugu yangu Juma Kapalato, akihakikisha kwamba matangazo haya unayapata vizuri kabisa kutokea eneo hili la Magogoni hapa zilizopo ofisi hizi za TAMISEMI jijini Dar es Salaam. Mimi naitwa Wilberforce Ngoto, nikurudishe kwako Agnes Almas.
Asante sana Wilberforce Ngoto. Mwisho wa habari za saa kwa sasa. Habari za kimataifa kutoka Al Jazeera zinafuata.
Wherever they will be until they are held to account.
Kenya's president vows to bring to justice attackers who killed 14 people at a Nairobi hotel. Hello there, I'm Laura Kyle. This is Al Jazeera live from Doha. Also coming up.
Mr. Speaker, the House has spoken and the government will listen.
Britain's Theresa May faces a no-confidence vote after her Brexit deal suffers huge defeat. Laurent Gbagbo soon to walk free after the International Criminal Court acquits the former Ivory Coast president of war crimes. And why these sculptures near the 9/11 memorial in New York caused an uproar. An attack that lasted more than 17 hours at a Nairobi hotel is over. Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta has offered his condolences to the families of the victims and has promised to find all those who were responsible. The incident began when attackers targeted 3 cars and detonated a bomb in the lobby. At least 14 people were killed.
We will seek out every person that was involved in the funding, planning and execution of this heinous act. We will pursue relentlessly wherever they will be until they are held to account. We will continue taking every step to make our nation inhospitable to terrorist groups and their networks.
Let's take a closer look at where the attack happened. The Dusit D2 Hotel is part of a luxury Riverside Drive complex in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. Many embassies and offices are based in the area. It's in Westlands district, that's about 2 kilometres from where another Al-Shabaab attack happened in 2013. Well, Al Jazeera's Joy Njuguna is at the scene in Nairobi. And Joy, just bring us up to speed with what's happening there now.
Right now, Laura, we can see a lot of movement. There's a lot of evacuation by the police. There's also the exit of the special forces. Earlier on, we were able to see them getting their vehicles and speeding off from the location. We're even just on the background, there's a truck full of police forces leaving the location. So that's that is happening right now. But earlier on, we were able to have the CS minister, or rather the security minister, talk to us at a press briefing, and he was saying that surely the siege is over, and the phase 1 of evacuating and rescuing the people who were trapped in is over, and now they're on the phase 2 of trying to gather evidence, because this is a it's a crime scene, and so they're trying to do all they can to gather all the evidence that they have on what went on yesterday. And talking of yesterday, we have with us a guest who his name is Mamadou. He's from France, and he was there. He was rescued yesterday by the forces. And Mamadou, can you just tell us briefly what happened and what was going on, and where were you when all this was happening?
Yes, but yesterday we were guests of the hotel. We were in the restaurant, and there's a car, and we leave the restaurant 5 minutes, and after the first explosion, and the people 2 minutes after the first explosion, we hear they are shooting in all places. But at this time, you have not security in the hotel, and all we run
Sorry, the truck is giving us a bit of a trouble, but I guess. Wow. I guess these are the trucks leaving actually with the forces, and so this is what has been happening all through. So they're trying to back up a little bit.
Joy, it's very busy where you are. Those soldiers are determined to reverse into your position. So I think we'll leave you there for the moment, and we will, of course, come back to you in the coming hours for more on the situation there, as it seems that the soldiers and the police and the ambulances are all evacuating that area. Joy, thanks very much. Now, a vote of no confidence is set to be held against Theresa May's government after the Prime Minister's Brexit deal was overwhelmingly rejected. MPs in the UK will debate the motion later on Wednesday, and it could trigger a general election. Jonah Hull is live for us from Westminster in London. And Jonah, another busy day set for Parliament.
Yes, indeed. 7 p.m. that vote of confidence scheduled to take place in the House of Commons behind me, called by the Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, of course, minutes after that enormous defeat for the Prime Minister last night, invited indeed by Theresa May to do so. She's confident she'll win. Let me bring in my guest to talk about the various options ongoing now. Professor John Ryan from the London School of Economics. John, thanks for joining us. As the markets try to price in risk here, the uncertainty continues, doesn't it? In ordinary times, a defeat on this scale would have been the end of this Prime Minister. Instead, she's likely to win a vote of confidence.
Exactly. And this is not ordinary times, because Brexit has actually skewed the whole political system here. And what we've got is indecision in Parliament about which way we go after this. So, you know, you've got a no Brexit option, you've got an exit without a deal, and you've got various other options that have been put up by parliamentarians, but none of them carry a majority within the Parliament at the moment.
Well, indeed, so the search for certainty goes on. Theresa May says if she survives, and
we seem to have lost Jonah. We're not having much luck with our lives today. Let's see if we can go over to David Chater. He's in Brussels. And David, what have we been hearing from the EU in response to this deal being rejected?
Laura, we've been hearing a lot of dismay, a sense of regret here at the huge majority against Theresa May after so many months of negotiation. And we've heard especially from the EU's chief negotiator, Michel Barnier, and he said essentially that a renegotiation can begin, but it would mean concessions and changes to the red lines coming from the UK, but there can be no fundamental changes to the most controversial issue, which is the Irish backstop. Let's hear what he said this morning in Strasbourg.
If the United Kingdom chooses to shift its red lines, if it makes that choice to be more ambitious and go beyond a simple free trade agreement, which would be quite something, then the European Union would be immediately ready to go hand in hand with that development and give a favourable response.
So the French Minister for Europe has also been speaking today, Nathalie Loiseau, and she said that it really is a case that the European Union has more to do, more on its hands than dealing with this very messy divorce. But importantly, she said that the withdrawal agreement deadline of March the 29th could be moved, both technically and legally. That is possible. And it would require a unanimous verdict from all 27 members of the European Union. So that looks probably the most likely scenario. But to what date will it be pushed back? Because we've got the European elections coming up at the end of May. Will it be before that? Will it be in June, July? There is an awful lot to discuss, and it doesn't look as though the renegotiation will actually cover the critical areas for the Brexiteers, which is that Irish border backstop. So a lot of talking still to do, and the renegotiation will not satisfy or be enough, probably, to get a parliamentary majority.
OK, David, plenty of questions to be sure still coming from the EU. Thanks very much for joining us there from Brussels. We've reconnected now to Jonah Hull in London, so let's go back to you now, Jonah.
interesting what the Germans...
Yeah, Laura, let me pick up with my guest. I'm sorry about that break-up in our signal there. I was talking to John Ryan from the London School of Economics, and we were talking about risk and the markets and how no clarity has emerged out of this vote. Mrs May, if she survives, will talk to cross-party MPs about their possible options. She's ruled out customs union. She's ruled out a second referendum. It really doesn't take us anywhere, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's in the road to nowhere, and we've had this now going on for about 2.5 years. We've got to a deal that the Parliament absolutely ruled out, and now where is she going to go? What's she going to do? Is she going to talk to Europe? We're getting messages from Europe, from the French and others, that there might be some wiggle room, but nothing much more.
Well, Boris Johnson, her former foreign minister, says go back to Brussels, point to this deal, tell them that if they scrap the backstop, they can bring the deal back and we'll vote for it.
Yeah, well, we have to take the words of Boris Johnson with a pinch of salt, because he was Foreign Secretary and he was the most undistinguished Foreign Secretary we've seen in living memory. So I don't think she'll take very much notice of what he's saying.
John, Theresa May framed the entire debate in recent months as being a choice between her deal, no deal, or no Brexit. Is it too simplistic now to say, well, if her deal is off the table and we know there's a majority in Parliament against no deal, well, now is the time to start looking seriously at the prospect of no Brexit?
No Brexit is going to be a very difficult one to achieve, but we might get there if we have a Norway option, which would mean we're basically still in the European Union in effect, but with no decision-making powers. That seems to be emerging as one of the options. But as you know yourself, covering this over the last few years, it's been very, very messy, and the politicians trying to get a grip on this have failed so far.
Okay, John Ryan, we'll leave it there. Professor John Ryan with the London School of Economics, and still a great deal of uncertainty surrounding what happens next beyond that vote of confidence in Theresa May at 7 p.m. this evening.
OK, Jonah, many thanks. Let's go north now. We can join Emma Hayward in Derby. And Emma, almost 60% of people where you are there voted to leave the European Union. Are people getting fed up that the government can't deliver this?
Sorry. Yeah, I will. What bank is this? I'm just wondering.
Well, real sense of frustration here that with less than 3 months to go, Britain is still in this situation. A lot of people keep saying we want to get on with it, whatever that might be. And Derby is important because it's the hub of manufacturing in the UK, and in this region there are more manufacturing jobs than anywhere else in the country. Well, let us get reaction to last night's vote and speak to Chris Hobson, who's the Director of Policy at the East Midlands Chamber of Commerce. You represent more than 4,000 businesses. Do you think